Hey, chess fans, have you ever played an amazing game just perfectly and then lost it all on one single clumsy move? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to dig into how you can stop making those simple mistakes and, really start seeing the board like a tactical master. Let's get into it.
So check this out. This is a post from the Chess Beginner subreddit, and I'm willing to bet it sounds pretty familiar. You're not just, leaving pieces out to dry anymore, but you keep walking into these clever little traps. It is so frustrating, and it feels like you've completely hit a wall. But what if I told you that this exact frustration is actually a really good sign?
That's right, you've basically graduated. You're not making those simple one-move blunders anymore. The problem is, your opponents are getting stronger, and so the mistakes you do make are way more punishing. This isn't a setback, this is you literally leveling up your game. So, to help you conquer this new level, here's our game plan. We're going to break down that tactical trap you're in. We'll master the 4 core tactics, we'll figure out how to actually spot them, and then we'll get into the right mindset for winning. So first up, let's talk about the trap itself. Okay, so stage 1 of learning chess is simple. Don't leave your pieces undefended. But you're past that. This next stage, where you are right now, is all about seeing these multi-move tactical sequences before they happen. It's a completely different kind of board vision, and it requires a whole new set of tools.
And here is that toolkit. We're going to focus on the 4 absolute fundamentals that decide, honestly, the vast majority of games at this level. We're talking pins, skewers, forks, and discovered attacks. And trust me, once you start seeing these patterns, you can't unsee them.
First up is the pin. A pin is basically when one of your pieces gets stuck. It's being attacked, sure, but it can't move away because if it does, it'll expose an even more important piece, like your queen or your king, to being captured. It's a tactic of paralysis.
Here is a picture-perfect example. Just imagine this white bishop is shooting a laser beam across the board. In its path is a black knight, and hiding right behind that knight is the black king. Now, could that knight move? Absolutely not. It's illegal. Moving would put its own king in check. So that knight is absolutely totally pinned, just frozen in place, unable to do its job.
Now, the pen has a kind of evil twin that gets confused with it all the time. The skewer. I mean, they look super similar, right? They both happen along a straight line, but they work in the complete opposite way. So let's clear this out once and for all.
The key difference here is the order of the pieces. With a skewer, the more valuable piece is the one that gets attacked first. It's forced to flee for its life, and in doing so, it exposes a less valuable piece behind it, which then gets captured. This is a tactic of coercion.
Chessmood has this brilliant analogy that makes it impossible to forget. Think about a barbecue. The stick goes right through the juiciest, most valuable piece of meat first to get to the pepper or onion behind it. That is exactly how a chess skewer works. You attack the big target to win the smaller one.
So let's just put them side by side. For a pin, the less valuable piece is in front, and it's stuck. For a skewer, the more valuable piece is in front, and it's forced to run away, leaving its buddy behind to get captured. So one paralyzes, the other chases. Simple as that.
All right, let's switch gears to our next set of tactics. If pins and skewers are all about attacking along a single, straight line, while forks and discovered attacks are about creating total chaos by hitting 2 things at once from totally different angles.
The fork is the absolute classic double attack. One of your pieces, say a knight or even a pawn, makes a single move and suddenly it's attacking 2 of your opponent's pieces at the exact same time. They can only save 1, which means you're about to come out ahead. And here is a beautiful, simple example. A single black pawn just pushes forward 1 square, and bam, all of a sudden that little pawn is a monster, hitting a white knight on one side and a white bishop on the other. White can only move one of them, which means black is guaranteed to capture the other piece on the very next turn. So simple, so elegant, and so devastating.
But let's be honest, the deadliest forks almost always come from the knight. And why is that? Well, as Chessmood points out, our brains are just wired to see patterns along straight lines. You know, the way rooks and bishops and queens move. But the knight's weird L-shaped jump, it's just not natural for us. It's harder to track, and that's why knight forks can feel like they come out of absolutely nowhere and catch you totally off guard.
And that brings us to the sneakiest double attack of them all, the discovered attack. This is like a 2-for-1 special. You move a piece, let's say a knight, and that knight is now creating a new threat. But the real danger is that by moving, it unmasked an attack from a long-range piece that was sitting behind it, like a bishop or a rook. So you get two threats with a single move. It's brutal.
Okay, so now we know what these tactics are. But that's really only half the battle, right? How do we actually train our brains to spot them before they happen to us? Well, it's all about developing your tactical vision. Here's a 4-step process basically pulled from some really experienced players. First, scan the entire board. Don't get tunnel vision on one little area. Second, actively look for pieces, your pieces, that are lined up on the same file or diagonal. Those are huge red flags for potential pins and skewers. Third, mentally flip the board. Before every move, just ask yourself, okay, if I were them, what's the best move I could make right now? And finally, my absolute favorite tip. Assume your opponent is not an idiot. If they make a move that looks like a huge blunder, just take a breath, look a little deeper. There is a very, very good chance it's a trap.
All right, we've covered the mechanics, we've covered the vision, but there's one more layer to this. And honestly, it might be the most important one. It's not just about calculation, it's about your mental state. Your mood directly affects your ability to find the best moves. According to the Grandmasters over at Chessmood, finding these brilliant tactical moves really requires 3 magic components. First, total concentration. No phone, no TV, just you and the board. Second, positivity. Even if you're in a terrible position, you have to believe there's a saving move. Because if you don't believe you can find it, your brain won't even bother to look. And third, you have to find joy in it. When you actually enjoy the struggle, your brain is more relaxed, more creative, and just ready to spot those hidden opportunities.
It really is that simple. It's a powerful little equation. When you're in the right mood, you're focused, you're positive, you're enjoying it, you create the perfect conditions for your mind to produce the right moves. Your own psychology is one of your biggest tactical weapons.
So in the end, getting to that next level in chess, it's not just about memorizing tactics. It's about fundamentally changing the way you look at the board, with sharper vision, a deeper feel for the patterns, and the right state of mind. It's about looking not just for your own next move, but for all the hidden traps and brilliant possibilities just waiting to be discovered. Now go find them.